Hi, this video, which I think I will split in two in terms of resources for life, but this is the first one. And I want to start it off with a couple of points for consideration again, and to maintain the focus of why I'm doing these videos in the first place. One is the primary one is to kind of share my experiences through life uh, in hopes that someone, I guess, could identify with it and maybe um, help in some way to understand something that they're dealing with, but also understanding me in terms of why I do the things that I do. So that's the underlying cause. But at the same time, the second point has to do with this idea of the tree of life that I expressed and the two paths involved. And I want to just restate that in my experiences, I've tried to understand and also live on both sides of uh, this process of these two paths. And so I spent many years on the path of man in terms of gaining knowledge about how to be successful in this society and this world that I found myself in, based on how man has defined what success is. But along the way, which was important, is I ran across something that I don't think that I had been prepared for, but found myself involved in, and that's what I call the evil side of life. And that side to me caused me to have to go through a major learning curve in order to just be able not only to survive, but to understand it and then be able to overcome it. So I just wanted to raise those 2 points or reiterate those 2 points in knowing that my purpose here is only to share my experiences and hopefully provide someone with a better understanding of what it is that makes me tick or has made me tick over these many years, and clear up some of the uh, mysteries about who I am. So, having said all that, I wanted to start this video series on resources uh, with how I have understood what resources are all about. And being born into the family I was born into, there was little or no chance for acquiring resources other than what it took to sustain life on a daily basis. And so most of my younger years were uh, 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 from that mindset that daily I had to struggle to help put food on the table so that we could exist for another day. And so uh, when I looked around in terms of resources that were available, if I look in the environment, there were plenty of resources there. But somehow there was something interfering with our ability to acquire those resources and take advantage of them. So I'd like to start uh, this conversation with what I call an example that comes from the environment, and that example has to do with a watering hole. And if you've ever seen uh, in the African documentaries or those focus on the African country and in some of them having a watering hole that's available to all of the animals in the environment. And noticing their behavior is that they uh, have a certain time and a certain cycle of coming to that water hole to get what they need in order to go on and fulfill their journey in life. And so it seemed to me underneath there is this cycle or uh, something that's maybe controlling that or uh, that's ordering that so that it is in most cases peaceful. And that idea of the watering hole led me to ask the question about the resources that were available in front of me and my family here when we started in this country or this place that that we resided, and looking around at the watering hole or the resources that were available, what was the problem that we faced that wouldn't allow us our turn at the um, uh, watering hole? And what I found was that, or what I thought, I shouldn't say I found, my thinking was that something on this path of man changed the rights that I had or we had to that watering hole. And so looking closer, what I saw was man in his interpretation of who gained access to the water hole took the uh, intent of our creator in terms of who could drink from that water hole. And so there again, it became man's interpretation of who gained access, who controlled access, and who was blocked from enjoying the fruits that God put on this earth for all of us. That to me was uh, an understanding or an explanation, I guess would be a better point, as to why life was so difficult for my family, and the fact that uh, if things continued as they were likely to do, that would be the case for the near future or the far future, as far as that goes. Um, One of my things along the way later in life I did was attempt to provide a solution to this issue. And I did it in what I call a booklet or a blueprint of how I would solve that problem uh, for my own folks. And I did it in this representation of a cover of a book that I did a few years back that I call A Path Worthy of Exploration. Um, Although I wrote it and then I did put it on Amazon, I didn't go any further than that in terms of trying to market it. It's just that was my idea of trying to address this problem, as long as on this path of man that there was going to be this group that was going to take over the rights to uh, our watering hole and deny access based on their interpretation of who was worthy of that process. So, this is the first part in the introduction into uh, this talk on resources. There's another one coming in the next video that is also focused on how to deal with uh, this problem that has been created by man. And so I'll see you in the next video.